every single store needs. And we're going to start with the Contact Us page. Now, you might want to do a Contact Us page and an About Us page. That's entirely up to you. Or you might want to combine them. And in fact, that's the preferred way that I do it. So to add a page, just go down to Online Store, click on Pages, and then simply Add Page. Now, because this is the first time, I just want to show you how this is set up on Shopify. So you have your page title here, you have your content of your page, and then down here at the bottom we have the search engine listing preview, which is simply how that would show up in the Google or the Yahoo or whatever rankings. So if we go back up the top here, my title this time is going to be very straightforward, just simply Contact Us. Now here you have all these icons, okay, all kinds of things you can do, point and click, to create a really good looking Contact Us page. And I really encourage you to do that. And the reason being is that so many people miss this opportunity to connect with their potential customer. You know, I do a lot of website reviews, and often the Contact Us page just says something like, please contact us at, and then an email address. But that's a missed opportunity, because you really want to take this moment to connect with your potential customer. And the way you do that is you tell your story. You know, tell them why you're starting this e-commerce store. Tell them a little bit about where you live. Tell them your interests. Tell them why that is relevant to your store. Whatever it might be, just give it some thought and put down some honest rhetoric about what it is that you are doing and why you're doing it. And if you like, include a picture. You know, a picture of yourself often works really, really well to connect with the customer. But if you feel uncomfortable about that, choose an image that's perhaps relevant to your store. But make the page a living page. It's amazing the difference that can make to your potential customer. And the other thing is that I see a lot is that people try to pretend somehow they're bigger than they are. You know, they put a picture up, but it's of a sort of corporate headquarters or something, which is kind of ridiculous because, you know, most people can smell that immediately. They know you're not a big store. They know you're probably a one or perhaps two-man band, that kind of operation. And you should be proud of that. Don't try to make yourself look corporate. That's not your image. You want that personal connection. So please go ahead and do that. Write some cool content for your Contact Us page. And once you're done, all you'll need to do then is go ahead and click on the Save button. Now, just before I do that, I do want to draw your attention to this visibility. Okay, so again, same with all the pages, but you have the opportunity, once you've created your page, to hide it for the time being if you're not ready, for example, to show it. Or by default, you can simply publish it on your site immediately. So I'm going to go ahead and do that by just simply clicking on Save. And it confirms that we've created it successfully. Now, you're probably thinking, now that's all very nice, Tim, but I still don't have any way for my customers to contact me. And in fact, the only thing you really have at the moment is the email address that you signed up with. So you could very easily add that at the bottom of your very nice Contact Us page that you're going to put together. But as the course progresses, I'm going to show you other ways that they'll be able to contact you. And in fact, later on, I have a whole section on adding credibility. So take your time with that Contact Us page. It really will pay dividends in the long run. So this next part, I'm sorry to say, is rather boring, but I do promise that the course is going to get an awful lot more exciting as we go along. But we do have to create 3 rather dull but very, very important pages. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the refund policy, the privacy policy, and the terms of service. And the good news is that Shopify makes that very easy for us. So all we need to do is to come down to Settings, go to Checkout this time. And then don't worry about any of this stuff, just scroll down towards the bottom and you'll come to this, the refund, privacy and terms of service statements. And to generate a refund policy, it couldn't be simpler. You just click on the Generate Sample Refund Policy button. And there you have it, okay? So what I want you to do is to do that for the refund policy, for the privacy policy, and for the terms of service. And then to click on Save. Now all we need to do is to create a page. So let's start with the refund policy. So if we just select all of that text and copy it, and then go to the online store, go to Pages. You see the Contact Us page that we've already created. Click on Add Page. Call it the refund policy. Let me spell that correctly. And then simply paste in that text, okay? Now I do encourage you to read it. It is a very, very good start. There's really nothing you need to worry about at this stage, but just read it. Make sure that you are comfortable with all of the statements in there. Once you've done it, click on Save. And then just go back to Settings back to your checkout. Grab this time the privacy policy, okay? And create a page for that in the same way, and then also the terms of service. So I think you get the idea. You don't need to watch me doing that. So I'm going to create those 3 pages, and I would ask you to do exactly the same so that we're all good to go in the next lecture. So you've created those 3 extra pages, and including the Contact Us page that we made before, that makes 4 pages in total that you've now created. But if you've been to the site, you'll notice that you can't actually find them anywhere on the site, and therefore neither can your prospective customer. So let's see how we can add those things to the menu so that it can all be easily found. So let's go back to the back end here. And this time we'll go down to navigation. Now in navigation we have 2 menus already set up by default. We have the footer menu that's got search in it, and we've got the main menu that's got home and catalog. So if I go back to the site itself, you can see the main menu with home and catalog, and if I go down to the footer menu, it's got search in it, okay? So that corresponds exactly to those things. Now to add something extra into the main menu, all we need to do is click on main menu and then just simply click on add menu item. So we had the Contact Us page, so the menu item is called Contact Us, and then what I want to do is find that page. So here it is, Contact Us, add that in and click on save. Now when I go back to the site and refresh and scroll to the top, you can see that we've got Contact Us up here in that top main menu. If I click on it, there's my Contact Us page. Of course, yours is filled in with all those great tips that I gave you earlier on. So we want to do the same thing for that bottom menu. So this time, back to navigation. And then the bottom menu or the footer menu. Click on footer menu. Add a menu item. So we'll have privacy policy. We find the privacy policy. There it is. Add it in. We want the refund policy with an E. And then find the refund policy. There it is. And then lastly, the very exciting terms of service. All right. So pages and terms of service. Add all those in. Okay, all nicely listed. Click on save. Back to the site. Refresh. And there we go, right? This is all in the footer menu. If I go to the home page, probably makes it a little bit clearer because it's right down the bottom. Here they are. So if I click on terms of service, for example, those are my terms of service. All right. So great job, guys. I shall see you in a moment. Now the next part of building out our Shopify store is to create a logo. Again, I see too many stores where they just leave it like I have it here, Tim's Super Deals. And in fact, Tim's Super Deals doesn't even read very well. But so many people just leave it like that as text. And that, again, is a missed opportunity because to create a logo shows a certain amount of professionalism and is a very nice way to start building out your brand. So how do we actually go ahead and create a logo? Well, we have this site over here called Fiverr, which I'm sure you've heard of, 5 with 2 R's on the end, where people will do pretty much anything for $5 and up. And one of them is creating logos. And I've had logos created on this site in the past, and it's absolutely amazing what people can do in a very short space of time for very little money. So if I was to type in here logo design, for example, and click on search, I would find thousands and thousands of people who can help me. I mean, look at this, logo design, 45, nearly 46,000 results. So that's one way to do it. But the way I actually prefer is to use a piece of software called Canva. Okay, so you just head over to canva.com, canva.com. Now it's completely free to sign up, or you can sign up with your Facebook account. And there are some paying aspects of this site, but you don't need them. You can create all kinds of amazing stuff for free. And once you connect, I'm not going to do a full-blown tutorial on Canva. You're going to find it pretty straightforward to set this up. But once you connect to their system, you're going to see a page a bit like this, which is basically a list of templates for more or less everything you can think of. Okay, we've got social media posts, we've got documents, we've got blogging and ebooks, marketing materials, all this kind of good stuff. And at the top here, I have logo. All right, so if I click on logo, then I get all kinds of fantastic ready-made templates where I could very, very easily drop in my own text. So, for example, I could take Max Brown here and just simply drop that over, right? And then I can edit this, I can change the text. It's very, very straightforward. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a simple logo for Tim's Super Deals. So I'm going to take this one here, Modern Space, and I'm just going to type in here Tim's Super Deals. Okay, now I know that's not the best logo in the world and I could spend an awful lot more time doing it, but the purpose of this lecture is to show you how simple it is and to inspire you, of course, as I'm trying to do with all of these lectures, inspire you to do it yourself and have a play around. But this really is a fantastic tool and I really, really encourage you to come over here and use it. Now, all that said, you might be a gifted logo designer or gifted graphic designer, in which case you won't need any of this stuff, but I do know that 99.99% of the people taking the course won't have those skills, me included. I am definitely not a gifted graphic designer, but these amazing sites make it super, super easy. So please take advantage, please take a little bit of time to create yourself a great logo, and very, very shortly I'm going to show you how to actually add that logo to your site. So in this lecture, I want to talk about images, because to create a really great looking site, you do need to put up some great images. You know, take some time to really think about what those images are going to be on your site. A site that looks a bit rubbish is going to drive away traffic very, very quickly, and all of your hard work will be wasted. A site that looks great is clearly going to draw them in. Now, I know that's really obvious, but it's surprising how often that gets overlooked. So what I want to do here is just show you some sites where you can get images that you have to pay for, but also, as you'll be pleased to know, plenty where they are for free. So let's start with the paying sites. Now, the big ones, I guess, are this one here that I'm on at the moment, which is called iStock Photo. So let's just imagine that we were in the dog sector, for example, and I just typed in dog here. It presents me with some beautiful images related to dogs, and there will be thousands and thousands of these. If I were to continue to scroll down the page, you'd see what I mean. But basically, this is a great site for getting some really, really nice images. Now, you're probably looking at something like $5 to $10 per image. Now, you might think that's a lot, but in fact, you're probably only going to use a handful of images on your site at any one time. So you may be looking at maybe investing, if you were to go down this route, let's say $20 in order to have 4 really great images on your site, and you might consider that to be a really good investment. Now, as well as iStock Photo, we have Shutterstock, which is a very similar concept. So let's just type dog in here, for example. And again, an endless selection, 1.8 million dog stock photos, 18,000 pages. So clearly we want to start refining that. But those two sites really have a limitless number of images that you can pay for. So let's imagine that you don't want to pay for images. So let's have a look and see what we can do there. Well, the first place we can go to is Google. Now on Google, I can type in dog and I can go to images. And here I have a load of images, but you need to be careful because very often these images are copyrighted. So if you were to take them and use them on your site, you may well have a problem later down the road. Probably the worst thing would be you would be asked to take them off your site. But if you built a brand around a particular image and then later on they ask you to remove it, that would be really, really annoying. So why not just avoid that whole thing in the long run? But it's not all lost for Google, because up here I have an additional filter called usage rights. And if I click on that, I get various options. I've got labeled for reuse with modification, labeled for reuse, labeled for non-commercial reuse, and then again another non-commercial. Now, we are commercial, right? We're building out a business. So if you wanted to be really on the safe side, you would select labeled for reuse. In other words, you can reuse any of these images. And quite frankly, you are going to find many, many great images here for your use. Now, the disadvantage, having said all that, with Google is that you often struggle to find the image, the size and quality that you want. That's the big advantage with those paying sites that I just showed you. In fact, with the paying sites, you'll get images in various different formats. But here, that's not the case. It's pulling images off the internet. So what you see is what you get, which can be frustrating. But that said, with a little bit of research and a little bit of looking around, you can often often find a really good image to use for your site. Now, if you don't want to use those paying sites and you don't want to use Google, then I'm not quite done yet, because in the next lecture, I'm giving you a list, which I hope is a pretty exhaustive list, in fact, of websites that have royalty-free images. In other words, you can go to those sites, you can search for your images, and you can be 100% certain that you can use those without a problem in the future. So I really hope from what I've just shown you here and also in the next lecture that you're going to be able to find some really, really cool images for your business. Okay, we're moving along fantastically here, and I just want to take this opportunity to make it absolutely clear that this course is all about building out a fantastic, profitable business, one that you can be proud of, one that could supplement your income, or maybe even replace your job altogether. Now, what I'm not doing is showing you how to build the most beautiful Shopify store ever, all right? I'm giving you all the tools. I hope you can see that as this is starting to develop, each lecture has great content that you can act on, all right? But I'm leaving a lot of that up to you. Having given you the tools for the job, I want you to run with it. I want you to realize how simple and how powerful this can be, and how you can really, really use it to build out something fantastic. So with that in mind, we've looked at creating some pages, we've also looked at the logo, and we've looked at some images. And I really hope that you've acted on that and you're starting to feel more and more comfortable, and hopefully getting more and more excited about how this could potentially change your life. Now, the next thing I want to show you on Shopify are the themes. So let's go down to the online store. And by default, we get the themes page. Now, the themes are the shop window to the store. They really are the kind of the window dressing. That's how I like to look at it. So if we go back to the site here, we see this image with text overlay and this gray thing here, which corresponds with this, okay? We're talking about the debut theme. And the debut theme is the theme that comes with Shopify by default, okay? It's a simple theme, it's very powerful, and what it does allow me to do is to demonstrate to you how themes work. Now I'm going to show you how this debut theme works and how you can customize the store as it currently looks. And with that knowledge, the good news is that most themes have a very, very similar pattern to the way they behave. So once you've got this debut theme idea under your belt, you'll be able to run with it and use all kinds of other cool themes to really, really personalize and customize your store. And I'll talk about that a little bit in the next lecture. But right now, I want to focus on this debut theme. So in order to make changes to the way this looks, all we need to do is click on Customize. And you see straight away that the entire presentation has changed, all right? What we've got over here is a different menu on the left-hand side, and this part over here is actually a live preview of my site. So this is very, very cool. I can make changes over here, which you'll see in a moment, and I'll see exactly how they affect the store over here instantly. So let's have a bit of fun and play around with this and see what we can actually do. Again, I want you to feel really, really comfortable with this. I don't think it's going to take that long. So if we go to the header, for example, and here you will see that we can upload a logo image, okay, to replace this thing here. So very, very simple. All we got to do is select an image, basically upload it if there's nothing there, which will be the case. Take your image. This is the one that I created very, very quickly over on Canva before, okay? I repeat myself, it's definitely not the best logo of all time, but I want to show you how to do this rather than the most beautiful logo ever. But there you go. You can see straight away that having selected a logo, it appears instantly on the right-hand side, okay? So Tim's Super Deals replaces that plain text that I had before. So if I click on Select, I can also basically make some changes here. I can make this thing a little bit wider if I wanted to. So let's say I want to make it a bit bigger, go up to 200. I get an instant change. Maybe that looks a bit better now that it's bigger. And I can align it left or centered however I want it. But I'm, let's say, pretty happy with that at the moment. So having got that all right, let's go back. And now I want to show you how easy it is to change this text here. So here we just go to this bit here where it says image with text overlay. As you scroll down, you can see that I can select an image, which we'll look at in a moment, but here we see the actual text itself. So if I change this to read something like, come and visit our store, okay, that's not the greatest headline ever, but I'm sure you can see straight away how simple that was to do. And then maybe what I want to do now is change this subheading here. Now at this point I want to start introducing something I promised right at the beginning of the course, where I said I'd show you some of the things that work for me. And things that work for me in the past very well are the dog jewelry business. Now it's not jewelry for dogs, it's actually jewelry for people who own dogs, okay? So just a small niche, you might be wanting to build out a general store or a niche store, whatever it might be, but I'm going to use that as a kind of an ongoing example through this as we build out my particular store, and you'll see that the products that I use later on will also be in that niche. But of course entirely up to you how you're going to build out your particular business. So let me put in some text here that would be relevant to that niche. So I'm going to take this out and I'm just going to put in this text here. Explore our fantastic collection of dog jewelry products. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here a little bit and I want to create a button. All right, so here in this button label, I'm going to type in here, discover more, ... And then the button link itself, I will just link to the products page, all products at the moment, okay? Something like that. So you can see, how long was that? I probably spent about a minute, if not less, where I've changed the main title to come and visit our store. I've now got a nice little subheading here, explore our fantastic collection of dog jewelry products, and a discover more button. Now I went through that fairly quickly, we'll come back to this, but the idea is that this is in fact a very good design for a store, because you're saying exactly what it's all about in the beginning and you're drawing them in to your collection, okay, with the discover more button. It basically pulls somebody into the store. So I encourage you to use that design, okay, that's your takeaway if you like. Obviously you're going to put your own spin on it depending on exactly how you're building out your store, but try to have that heading, that kind of subheading, and then a button that pulls them into the store. Now let's not forget to save, of course. And just to be absolutely sure that it's actually really happening on our site, if we go back here and refresh, then here you see the logo and all the bits and pieces that we've just been talking about. So now let's try and put a nice image behind all this to really start to give it a professional feel. So back to the customized theme page, and still in this come and visit our store section, what I'm going to do here is click on this select image. And I'm going to upload an image that I got from iStock Photo, in fact. So this one here. And it's basically just an image of a woman cuddling a dog, which I rather like. Now I've pulled that in. Now you can see instantly that it's available on the site. And all I've really got to do now is just select that. Now I can play around again a little bit with these various options, but I'm pretty happy with that now. That will do for the time being. So I'm going to click on save. Let's just refresh the site again just to be sure. So there's the image coming in. So you can really see within a few minutes I've gone from a completely blank homepage to something that looks really, really cool. And I've used no technical skills at all. It's all point and click, just as I promised you. So I really, really hope you're getting excited here. Now, just to finish off, I want to show you where those images are actually stored within your Shopify backend. So back to the come and visit our store section, come out of here and then click on this Shopify logo to bring you back to the original admin. Now you can see all of this has changed as well, and if I go down to the settings, we have a section here called Files. If I click on Files, all those files that you've uploaded, in my case just a couple of images, they're held here. So if you ever wanted to delete them, modify them, or indeed upload files directly to this area, you can, okay? So that's just another part of the settings that I wanted to make you aware of. But otherwise, we have made leaps and bounds in this lecture towards creating a fantastic looking store. So I really, again, encourage you to go back and do all this stuff for yourself. Build out what I've done. You've seen how simple and powerful Shopify is. So we've been playing around with the debut theme, just one theme, but there are hundreds, maybe thousands of themes out there that you can use. So I just want to make you aware of all that, and we're going to talk about that in the next lecture. So as I said in the previous lecture, what I want to do is just make you aware of other themes, and I'm going to show you how easy it is, in fact, to swap them in and out for your store. What I don't really want you to do is to spend an enormous amount of time doing this. I just want you to treat this as a little bit of knowledge that later on, once we actually build out the business, because that's what this course is all about, once we get to that and you've built out your business, at that point, perhaps come back here and choose a theme that's appropriate. So this is more about awareness. So let's have a look and see how we can actually go about this. So here we are on the themes page, and if I scroll down a bit, I've got some options here. I've got free themes and I've got Shopify theme store. Now if I click on explore free themes, I get a handful of themes, but it demonstrates the point very nicely. You can see that this theme, Simple, has a very different layout to this one called Pop, which itself has a different layout to Boundless, and so on, all right? So each theme has its own unique style. So let's just say, for the sake of example, I liked this Brooklyn theme. What I can do is select it. It gives me various features about it. I can read more about it. I can, in this case, choose a different style between classic and playful, but let's just leave it on classic. And then I say to myself, yep, I like this theme, I want to use it. So I click on Add Brooklyn. Now at this stage, nothing's changed, but if we scroll down here, we see that the Brooklyn theme is available. And under these actions, I can now publish this if I wanted to. In other words, change what I currently have, the debut theme, for this Brooklyn theme. Now, often when you change themes, the images aren't preserved, but the text is. So I'm just going to show you that example right now. So let's click on Publish. It gives me an "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I'm sure, so I'm going to click on Publish. And the whole thing refreshes, and now I have a different look and feel to my store. So if we go back here now and refresh, as I say, the images aren't preserved, but we get a completely different layout. If I scroll down here, for example, you see all of this feature collection. These things are very different to the debut theme. I've even got a subscribe to our newsletter, which wasn't part of the debut theme. It's part of the Brooklyn theme. The way this bottom menu, you probably remember, was horizontal. Now it's vertical. Okay, so each theme is very, very different in its look and feel, and you may find one very appealing for your store later on in the day. But let's say now I don't want to do that, right? I want to go back to where I am. Well, that's very, very simple. So now debut theme is in the list. So if I want to basically just go back, Actions, publish the debut theme, click on Publish again, and I'm back to where I started. Now, scrolling down again, we had free themes, and as you saw, there was probably, 8 to 10 free themes. That's it. But we do have this Shopify theme store. And if we visit the theme store, this is where you get access to hundreds, possibly thousands of different themes on pretty much everything you can think of. So, just scrolling down, we've got Find the Perfect Theme for Your Online Store. That will take you through a whole process. We've got a bit of trending going on. We've got some different layouts, minimalistic style. And what I like in particular is this browse by industry. Okay, if I go into this, there's all kinds of themes related to specific industries. So I don't want to repeat myself, but later on in the day, once we've gone through the process of building out a great business, you might have a business that revolves around, let's say, some sort of toy, or maybe jewelry like I'm doing here, or art, or whatever it might be, and you can come back here and you can choose a theme which really gives your store a fantastic professional feel. So we'll stick with the debut theme for the moment, but the message is that's not really the one you want for the long term, okay? Come back here once you've done this whole course and really produce something super, super cool. So just before we move on here, I just want to sum up a little bit this section because, we have done a huge amount here in a very short space of time. I mean, probably half an hour or an hour ago, you perhaps had no knowledge of Shopify whatsoever. And we've managed to put together a pretty decent looking site. And again, all point and click. We haven't used any technical knowledge whatsoever. So I really, really hope that you're starting to feel very, very comfortable with Shopify and all the great things it can do for us. Now, we've still got a long way to go, of course. On the homepage here, we haven't looked at any of this stuff down below, like featured collections and products and what have you. And that's because we haven't quite got to that part yet. We're going to fill in all these gaps as we go. And in fact, that's what the next section is going to be about. We're actually now going to start looking at markets that are profitable and how to find products within those profitable markets. And once you've got a great understanding of that, then we'll look at actually adding products to our site and really building out a fantastic store. So super, super congratulations. I can't wait to see you in the next section.